大家好，我是凤梨哥。我们外国人大部分说我们爱台湾，可是这只是一句话。今天我要介绍给你们我的朋友大卫，他写了不是一本，2本关于台湾的书。好，我们找找看他吧。你们不要来吗？过来，过来。
Hi David, thank you for coming, and actually thank you for accepting me here in your office.
Thank you for having me. I very much appreciate it.
Here are your books, and when I saw the cover of your book, I was quite interested in contacting with you because we foreigners always say we love Taiwan, but we don't really do a lot for that, and we don't take our time to do something for Taiwan. You have 2 books, and you spent a lot of time for those, and I think that is something worth to introduce and let people know.
And as he's just pointed out, I've had 2 books. I published a book about 8 years ago. It finally came out. That was the second book, Something Super. And this is more of a personal take on sort of my life in Taiwan, more personalized. There's a little bit of political discussion, but mostly it's sort of like my life in Taiwan. The second book, Taiwan, A Light in the East, that's what we're talking about today. This one was more analytical. Even though I'm analytical, I can't help but being a little bit personal. Right? Because I've lived in Taiwan for 20 years now, if you can believe that, my friends. And so I've really sort of turned over into a Taiwanese entity in a lot of ways, a Taiwanese citizen in a lot of ways.
If you live right, like even the shortest time is enough. Like you have been here for 20 years, and you wrote 2 books about Taiwan.
Now,
so
right,
yeah,
right. I'm looking forward to the third book. There's always a little personal angle, even when I'm talking about politics, Donald Trump in Taiwan. Taiwan is threatened by risks, independence. That's a big issue.
I think Taiwan's issue is not independence. Taiwan's issue is recognition.
Well, that's very true. That's very true, and that's a very good point. That is because independence in a lot of ways is not really the issue, right? Because Taiwan has never declared independence, and therefore it is not independent as Taiwan. It has a semi-independence as the Republic of China. It's seeking recognition, right? It wants to be more involved in the UN and the WHO and all the other organizations. So anyway, to return to my central question, why did I write this book? A lot of this book includes pieces that I published in the newspaper. So I didn't write them, they were already written. So I saw that there was a book waiting to be written. I had written the material already, and I just needed
the material is all over your walls.
All over my walls. And
I just told him that he won't have enough walls.
I saw that to link that together into a coherent piece, that made sense. I wanted to talk about Taiwan because Taiwan is an important country. This is my new home. I don't think I'm going back to the US. That personal angle made me, I want to talk about it. I want to tell people what I think.
Let's start with your life here.
I was looking for jobs, having trouble, and my girlfriend simply announced, why don't we move to Taiwan? I agreed. I didn't really know where I was going. I knew Taiwan, but I didn't know what I was getting into. I had taken 1 Chinese class the year before, basically just to sort of be with my girlfriend, just to show her that I was trying. I couldn't speak a word of Chinese though.
No, you shouldn't feel bad about that because I have a friend studied 4 years Chinese for 4 years, and she came here 2 months ago. She can't speak any Chinese. I know. So don't worry about it at all.
Okay, but I still had no plan when I arrived here. That's the key. I got a job at a university, so that got me started. And that was it.
I think I'm not in a position to say welcome to Taiwan because you're here, you're here earlier than me. But I think all of our Taiwanese friends will welcome you one more time.
Right, and I mentioned that at another point when I talk about being a foreigner in Taiwan, what it's like. I do mention that, the people here have welcomed me. Taiwanese people have kind of a reputation for being really nice people, and you generally find that's true. During all of this time, up to the first 3 years, I really didn't like Taiwan that much. And I didn't like Taipei very much. I often thought Taipei seemed sort of a dilapidated, rundown place. Didn't really like it. Many people would ask, why didn't you leave? I didn't really feel like I had an option. I had a good job, so that was nice. I didn't feel like I could necessarily do better in the US. And so there was no reason to leave, so I didn't leave. And 3 years later, bingo, I got married. And it was at that time when I started to like Taiwan. And I discovered all sorts of great stuff going on here. All sorts of great culture going on in Taipei, right?
It's also about being ready to discover things, yeah.
Maybe you're right.
Maybe that was
Maybe
the
that
time
was it.
that you were actually ready.
I was
Yeah,
ready,
yeah.
right.
As a foreigners, we have a lot of pressure of like finding job or finding good job or leaving or not leaving job. So when you are ready to discover things, yeah, you will start liking the place you are. Not necessarily Taiwan, but yeah, from Taiwan is
Okay.
our point here.
And it was at that time, about 10 years, that suddenly in my mind, just sort of a click. I'm ready. I'm ready to take part in the dialogue.
In your book, you said Taiwanese students aren't happy. Can you please tell us more about that?
I wrote a paper about student unhappiness, and I did some research. I put together about 2 groups, and I actually got another teacher in another school to help me. It's a happiness group in the United States. They like study happiness, and they're always like trying to endorse the idea of being happier. And I put it all together, and I looked at it. And when I looked at those numbers that came out of the survey, and I wrote the paper, students scored low on 2 important areas, community and social support. And they claimed that they weren't getting enough of that.
Oh.
Now that says something about Taiwan in a way, that their feeling of community was low. Family is an important part of life here,
Yeah.
so the family unit is really important. But the external sort of community connections, they were less. And I guess that is partially true because the family's so tight.
And if you
Right.
cannot socialize as a human being, you're not going to be so happy.
Right.
Some people in Taiwan are worried about future, and some people worry a lot actually. So what do you think about future of Taiwan?
The future, right. That's one of the chapters in the book is the
Yeah.
future in Taiwan. I'd say I'm pretty positive about Taiwan's future. It could get better. It could get better, and it has gotten better actually. And many people have noticed that, oh, the United States is much nicer to Taiwan these days, and the other countries too. Japan, Australia. The Secretary of State, Blinken, he's been real strong pro-Taiwan. I've said that the government and the politicians in Taiwan, they're sort of unskilled. Cities in Taiwan, in some ways, they're pretty good, smart cities and things like that. But you still have a lot of problem with littered environments, pollution,
Definitely.
things like that. And then even out in the country,
That
in the
hurts.
mountains.
Like Taiwanese nature is like great.
Yeah, right,
Like really
right,
great,
right,
and I think
right.
it's not promoted enough. But
right.
yeah, like seeing litter all over the place is not really nice. Yeah, so
Right.
that hurts me.
I think Taiwan could improve its education in the future. It's not bad now, but one thing about, you notice in Taiwan when you're a student or a teacher, these hundreds and hundreds of technical vocational schools, right? And that seems to be where Taiwan has landed. Technical vocational. Where are the humanities in all of this? You don't see that much. I did say Taiwan could be Switzerland of the East. How? Well, probably the most important point is democracy, freedom, human rights. Those are a big deal in Taiwan. I've also seen in some ways in the economy, social values and arts and education, there's some similarities.
Love of nature is also a big thing here, just like Switzerland.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm a very Western guy. I've never abandoned my Westernness. And you know, I got a little Taiwanese blood in my veins right now, folks. I thank you all. 谢谢你们。我喜欢你们。我很高兴你们来看我。There's my Chinese. As a final note, if you get the book, and again, it's hard to get, please enjoy it. Not just the things we've been talking about, because we talked about a lot of personal stuff today. The analytical side, I'd love you to see it, of politics, diplomacy, international relations, Taiwan affairs, Taiwan recognition, independence.
Please look for his name online. I'm gonna put his information down so you can find his name and everything about him. Thank you for watching, everyone.
Thank you.
I thank David for participating in this and giving us a lot of insights about his life and tell us about Taiwan. Yeah. So thanks, David.
Thank
And
you.
Thank you, everyone, for watching. I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.